You lock the door. You turn the deadbolt. Click. That sound used to be your favorite sound in the world. It meant the show was over. It meant the mask could come off. It meant the chaos of other people, their needs, their noise, their incompetence, their drama, was finally locked out. You were safe in the fortress of your own making. Sovereign, untouchable, alone. You stand in the middle of your living room. It's perfectly quiet. Everything is exactly where you left it because no one else is here to move it. No one is here to mess it up. You have curated this space to be the ultimate engine of your efficiency. You tell yourself this is freedom. You tell yourself this is what strength looks like. But let's look closer at that silence. Listen to it. Really listen to it. It's not peaceful anymore, is it? It's heavy. It has a weight to it. It presses against your eardrums. It presses against your chest. That silence isn't the sound of peace. It's the sound of a vacuum. And deep down, in the parts of your mind you try to drown out with podcasts and work and late-night scrolling, you know the truth. You aren't free. You are under siege. This is the lone wolf trap. And right now, you are sitting in the center of it, convinced you are the king of the castle, when actually, you are just the inmate of a very well-decorated cell. Think about the last time you won. Really visualize it. Maybe it was last week. Maybe it was yesterday. You closed the deal. You hit the PR in the gym. You fixed the problem that no one else could fix. The rush hit you. That electric spike of dopamine. That feeling of, I am unstoppable. What did you do next? You turned around. Instinctively. You turned around to look for the eyes that would mirror that victory back to you. You turned to high-five the air. And you saw nothing. You saw a wall. You saw an empty chair. You saw a phone screen that wasn't lighting up. So you reached for the phone. You unlocked it. Your thumb hovered over the contact list. And this is where the lone wolf trap cuts the deepest. You started scrolling. You scrolled past the old friends you stopped calling because they were distractions. You scrolled past the ex you pushed away because they didn't understand the grind. You scrolled past the family members you labeled as toxic simply because they asked you to show up for things. You scrolled past the colleagues you kept at arm's length because emotional distance is professional. You scrolled, and you scrolled, and you realized, with a cold pit forming in your stomach, that you have successfully eliminated everyone. You won the game of independence. You are completely self-reliant, and you have never felt more pathetic. So what did you do? You probably posted it. You threw the victory into the digital void, hoping for the validation of strangers to replace the warmth of a handshake. You traded intimacy for likes. You traded a pack for an audience. But the audience doesn't care if you live or die. The audience is just watching a show. This is the seduction of the lone wolf trap. It sells you the idea that dependency is weakness. It tells you that if you need people, you are vulnerable. So you systematically cut the cords. You cauterize the connections. You build walls so high that no arrow can reach you. But here is the uncomfortable truth about walls. Walls keep enemies out, but they also keep supplies from getting in. You are starving in there. You are starving for perspective. You are starving for the reality check that only another human being can give you. You are starving for the safety that comes not from stone and steel, but from having a second pair of eyes watching your back. Think about the last time you were weak. The flu. A moment of panic. A financial scare. You didn't call anyone. You couldn't. You've spent years branding yourself as the one who has it handled. If you call for help now, you break the character. You shatter the myth. So you laid there, staring at the ceiling, shivering, ordering soup from an app, interacting with the delivery driver through a closed door. Transactional. Cold. Efficient. Is that power? Is that the alpha existence you told yourself you were building? Or is that the behavior of a wounded animal hiding in a hole, hoping nothing finds it? Machiavelli, the master of power dynamics, the man who understood the brutal reality of survival better than anyone, looked at the princes who built fortresses to isolate themselves from their people. Do you know what he said? He didn't call them strong. He didn't call them smart. He said they were doomed. He knew that the moment you isolate yourself, you blind yourself. You think you are protecting your power, but you are actually stripping it away. You are cutting off your intelligence network. You are removing your leverage. You are making yourself the easiest target in the world because there is no one standing next to you to say, "Look out." The lone wolf trap isn't about being an introvert. It's not about enjoying your own company. Solitude is healthy. Solitude is a restoration station where you go to recharge. Isolation is a bunker where you go to die. And right now, you are confusing the two. You think you are in solitude, but you are in isolation. You have convinced yourself that the reason you are alone is because you are too advanced, too focused, or too deep for the sheep around you. Wrong. You are alone because you are afraid. You are afraid of the friction of other people. You are afraid of the messiness of trust. You are afraid that if you let someone in, they might see that the lone wolf isn't a predator at all. They might see that you're just a scared kid in a locked room. And that is the most dangerous position you can possibly be in. Because eventually, the door you locked to keep the world out won't open when you need to get out. You didn't wake up one day and decide to build a fortress. You didn't sign a lease on a lonely island. No, you built this prison brick by brick. You laid the foundation with 1,000 tiny choices that looked like efficiency, but were actually withdrawal. Let's look at the architecture of how you did it. The "I got it" reflex. You're struggling with something. Maybe it's a heavy box. Maybe it's a complex piece of code. Maybe it's a financial spreadsheet that isn't balancing. Someone, a colleague, a partner, a stranger, sees you struggling. They step in. They offer a hand. "Hey, let me help you with that." Watch your reaction. Your muscles tense. Your jaw tightens. You feel a spike of irritation. Not gratitude. Irritation. You feel insulted that they thought you needed help. You feel exposed. "I got it," you snap. "I'm good." You push them away. You finish the task alone, sweating, stressed, running on adrenaline. And when you're done, you feel a grim satisfaction. I didn't need them. You count this as a victory for the lone wolf. But what really happened? You just signaled to that person, "You are useless to me." You just taught them, "Do not offer me value." You trained them to stop investing in you. You think you protected your autonomy. You actually just fired an ally. The transactional text. Your phone buzzes. It's a friend. Or maybe someone you used to call a friend. "Hey man, been a while. Want to grab a beer?" You stare at the screen. You don't see an invitation. You see a bill. You calculate the cost, the drive, the small talk, the energy drain, the disruption to your routine. You think about how much work you could get done in those 2 hours. So you type it out. The universal shield of the modern lone wolf. Super swamped right now. Maybe next week. You have no intention of meeting next week. You archive the thread. You feel relief. Crisis averted. You preserved your precious time. You go back to your grind. But do this 10 times, and the phone stops buzzing. Do this 20 times, and you realize no one knows where you live anymore. You think you're prioritizing your mission. You're actually suffocating your network. You are creating a vacuum where opportunities used to be. The ledger of zero. This is the subtlest brick in the wall. You are terrified of debt. Not financial debt, social debt. If someone buys you lunch, you Venmo them before you've even left the table. If someone does you a favor, you immediately try to pay it back. If someone gives you a gift, you panic until you can reciprocate. You think this is honor. You think this is being a stand-up guy. Wrong. Human relationships are built on debt. They are built on the messy, lingering exchange of favors. I owe you one is the glue of society. It keeps the channel open. It keeps the connection alive. By settling the score immediately, you are closing the account. You are saying, we are even. We are done. I need nothing from you. You are washing your hands of the entanglement. You keep the ledger at zero because deep down, the lone wolf is terrified of leverage. You don't want to owe anyone anything because you don't trust anyone to hold that debt over you. So you walk through life debt-free and connection-poor. This strategic silence. You're in a meeting, or a group chat, or a family dinner. People are sharing. They are complaining about their bosses, talking about their fears, laughing about their mistakes. And you? You just watch. You don't contribute. You don't reveal your cards. You tell yourself this is maintaining mystery. You tell yourself you are analyzing the room, gathering intel like a spy. Never let them know your next move, you think. So you stay silent. You nod. You give vague answers. Everything's good. Just working on some projects. Business as usual. You think you are being Machiavellian. You think you are protecting your vulnerabilities. But here is the reality of the lone wolf trap. Trust is a currency. To get it, you have to spend it. By refusing to show any vulnerability, by refusing to share any struggle, you make yourself invisible. People can't connect with a smooth surface. They can't trust a man who has no problems. They don't see a mysterious strategist. They see a cold, arrogant robot. And when they start building their own alliances, when they start sharing the real opportunities, the real intel, the real support, guess who isn't invited? You. Because they don't know you. You hid yourself so well that you disappeared. You look around at your life and you see a pristine, uncluttered, efficient space where no one bothers you. You think you've won the game of independence. But you haven't built a kingdom. You've built a coffin. And the air is getting thin. You watch the movies. You see the silent assassin. The cowboy riding off into the sunset. The road detective who breaks all the rules and gets the job done because he doesn't have to wait for backup. You see that and you think, that's me. You think you are the apex predator. You think your isolation makes you dangerous because you have nothing to lose. You tell yourself that by severing attachments, you've become harder to kill. Wrong. Let's flip the camera. Let's look at you through the eyes of a real predator. A manipulator. A corporate shark. A toxic narcissist. A criminal. When they look at a room full of people, they aren't looking for the loud one. They aren't looking for the leader. They are scanning the perimeter. They are looking for the straggler. They are looking for the one standing just a few feet away from the herd. They are looking for you. In the animal kingdom, there is a reason lions don't attack the center of the herd. It's suicide. Too many eyes. Too many horns. Too much mass. So they wait. They watch. They look for the gazelle that thinks it's faster than the others. The one that thinks it doesn't need to move with the group. The one that wanders off to graze alone because it's independent. That gazelle thinks it's free. The lion knows it's lunch. You think your solitude is a shield? No. Your solitude is a giant. Neon sign that screams, and oh witnesses. Let's take this out of the jungle and put it in your office. Imagine a toxic manager who wants to scapegoat someone for a failed project. They skin the team. They see Person A. Person A eats lunch with the VP. Person A is in 3 different group chats. If the manager attacks person A, the blowback will be massive. The herd will react. Then they see you. You, the lone wolf. You, who eats at your desk with headphones on. You, who declines the happy hours. You, who thinks office politics are beneath you. You are the perfect victim. If they fire you, who's going to fight for you? If they steal your credit, who's going to vouch for you? If they lie about what you said in a meeting, who's going to correct the record? No one. Because you're not there. You're in your fortress. You made yourself easy to erase. You think you're playing 4D chess by avoiding the drama of office alliances. But actually, you just removed your own safety net. You handed your enemies the greatest gift they could ask for: isolation. Divide and conquer is the oldest military strategy in history. Armies spend millions of dollars and thousands of lives trying to separate their enemies, to cut off their supply lines, to break their communication. You did it to yourself for free. You divided yourself. You conquered yourself. You saved them the trouble. Think about the psychological toll of this. When a predator targets a lone wolf, they know something else, too. They know you have no one to reality check the gaslighting. When a manipulator starts twisting your reality, telling you that you're the crazy one, that you're the problem, that you remembered it wrong, you have no sounding board. You have no friend to say, "Wait a minute, that's not what happened." You are trapped in the echo chamber of your own mind with the person who is hunting you. And they know it. They know that when the pressure gets high, when the stress breaks you, you won't reach out. You'll withdraw further. You'll go deeper into the cave. You'll try to handle it alone. That is exactly where they want you. They want you silent. They want you separated. They want you to believe that asking for help is a sign of weakness, so that you'll stay quiet while they pick you apart. The lone wolf trap isn't a power fantasy. It's a prey fantasy. You are walking through a dangerous world with your hands in your pockets and your eyes on the ground, telling yourself you're the most dangerous thing on the street. But the wolves are watching. The real wolves. The ones that hunt in packs. And they aren't afraid of you. They're licking their chops. Because to them, you don't look like a warrior. You look like a snack. Niccolò Machiavelli, the man whose name is practically a synonym for cunning, for strategy, for doing whatever it takes to win. You've probably quoted him. You've probably posted a sleek black and white Instagram tile with his face on it about better to be feared than loved. You think the lone wolf archetype fits right into his playbook. After all, a prince must be ruthless, right? A prince stands alone at the top. Wrong. If you actually read The Prince, specifically chapter 20, you find a warning that destroys the entire lone wolf fantasy. Machiavelli asks a simple question: should a prince build a fortress? A fortress, the ultimate symbol of the lone wolf. Thick walls, high towers, a place where you are untouchable, a place where you don't have to deal with the messy, treacherous, annoying people outside. Shutterstock. You'd think Machiavelli would love a fortress, but he hated them. He warned that for a ruler, a fortress is a death trap. Why? Because the moment you build a fortress, you stop trying to manage the people. You stop trying to understand them. You stop trying to influence them. You think the walls will do the work for you. You get lazy. But worse than lazy, you get blind. When you are inside the fortress, you cannot see what is happening in the streets. You cannot hear the whispers in the market. You cannot sense the shift in the wind. You cut off your own intelligence network. While you are sitting safe and smug behind your walls, your enemies are out there organizing. They are gathering resources. They are turning the people against you. And you don't know about it. You don't see it coming until they are battering down your door. Translate this to your life. Your fortress isn't made of stone. It's made of noise-canceling headphones. It's made of do not disturb mode. It's made of declining invites. It's made of the arrogance that says, I don't need to play office politics. You think you are protecting your peace. You are actually blinding yourself to reality. When you isolate, you stop receiving feedback. Real, raw, uncomfortable feedback. The kind that tells you there's spinach in your teeth. The kind that tells you your new idea is actually garbage. The kind that tells you that your tone of voice is alienating everyone in the room. Without that feedback, you drift. You start to operate on outdated data. You start to construct a version of reality in your head that has nothing to do with the actual world. You become the guy who writes a 10-page manifesto that makes perfect sense to him, but looks like insanity to everyone else. You become the creepy guy, the out-of-touch boss, the weird neighbor, not because you are inherently flawed, but because you have starved your social brain of the data it needs to calibrate. Humans are herd animals. Our brains are wired to synchronize with others. When you sever that connection, your internal gyroscope breaks. You start tilting, you start spinning, and you don't even feel it. Machiavelli knew that the only real security, the only true fortress, is not walls. It is goodwill. It is a network of allies. It is having ears in every room and eyes on every street. It is knowing that if you fall, 10 hands will reach out to catch you before you hit the ground. The lone wolf thinks power is vertical, standing above everyone else. Machiavelli knew power is horizontal, being connected to everyone else. So look at your fortress again. Look at the walls you've built to keep the idiots out. You think those walls make you strong. You think they make you a king. But to the people outside, looking up at your sealed windows, they just look like the walls of a tomb. And inside, you are ruling over a kingdom of dust, safe from everything except your own irrelevance. Let's cut the crap. We've talked about strategy. We've talked about Machiavelli. We've talked about predators. But we haven't talked about you. Why do you really do this? Why do you really choose the empty room over the crowded one? Why do you really choose the Friday night and over the Friday night out? You have a script for this. I know you do. You've rehearsed it 1,000 times. I'm an introvert. I just hate small talk. People are draining. I have high standards. I'm focused on my purpose. That sounds nice. It sounds noble. It sounds like you are a monk on a mountaintop, too enlightened for the petty squabbles of the villagers below. Bullst, asterisk asterisk. You aren't isolating because you are strong. You are isolating because you are fragile. Here is the dark truth about the lone wolf trap. It is the ultimate ego defense mechanism. When you are alone, you are perfect. In your apartment, with the door locked, you are the smartest person in the room. You are the funniest person in the room. You are the most attractive person in the room. Your ideas are always right because no one is there to challenge them. Your jokes always land because no one is there to not laugh. In the vacuum, your ego can expand to fill the entire space. You get to be the main character of a movie that only has one actor. But the moment, the exact second, you step out that door and interact with another human being, that fantasy is at risk. People are friction. People interrupt you. People misunderstand you. People don't laugh at your jokes. People point out the flaw in your logic. People have their own needs, their own egos, their own main character energy. And that terrifies you. It's not that you hate people. It's that you hate the feeling of not being in total control. You hate the feeling of being just another guy in the room. You hate the risk of rejection. So you pull the chute. You eject. You tell yourself, they're just sheep. They don't get it. They're shallow. That is a defense mechanism. It's a way to reject them before they can reject you. It's a preemptive strike. You fire the whole world so you don't have to face the possibility that maybe, just maybe, the world wouldn't have hired you anyway. Think about the high standards excuse. I only want high-value people in my circle. I don't have time for mediocrity. Is that true? Or is it just a convenient way to disqualify everyone so you never have to be vulnerable? If no one is good enough for you, then you never have to open up to anyone. You never have to show your belly. You get to stay armored up, looking down your nose at everyone, safe in your tower of judgment. It is laziness disguised as superiority. Relationships are work. They are messy. They require compromise. They require you to shut up and listen. They require you to apologize. They require you to navigate complex emotions that you can't put on a spreadsheet. The lone wolf looks at that work and says, "Nah, too hard." But instead of admitting, "I'm too lazy to do the emotional labor," you say, "I'm too focused on my grind." You wrap your fear in a cloak of ambition. You wrap your social anxiety in a trench coat of mystique. But deep down, at 2 a.m., when the silence is deafening and the blue light of your phone is the only warmth in the room, you know the truth. You aren't protecting your energy. You are hoarding it. You aren't avoiding drama. You are avoiding life. You have built a perfect, frictionless existence where nothing can hurt you, nothing can challenge you, and nothing can touch you. Congratulations. You are perfectly safe, and you are completely irrelevant. Because greatness, real, actual greatness, doesn't happen in a vacuum. It happens in the friction. It happens in the collision of minds. It happens in the messy, chaotic, terrifying arena of human connection. You're hiding in the locker room, telling yourself you're the best player on the team, while everyone else is out on the field actually playing the game. You think you're a wolf? No, you're a ghost. You pride yourself on being observant. You pride yourself on your analysis. You sit in the back of the room, arms crossed, watching the behavior of the herd, convinced you see everything. You see nothing. You are looking at the world through a keyhole. This is the information vacuum, and it is the specific mechanism that kills the lone wolf first. Here is how it happens. You are at work. You get the email. Company restructuring. It's a shock. You scramble. You panic. You start updating your resume. You feel blindsided. How could they do this? You ask. There were no signs. Wrong. There were signs for months. But they weren't in the emails. They weren't in the all-hands meetings. They weren't in the quarterly reports. They were in the whispers. They were in the subtle glance between the VP and the director at the coffee machine, the one you didn't see because you were eating lunch in your car. They were in the hypothetical conversation at the happy hour, the one you skipped because it's a waste of time. They were in the tone of voice during the pre-meeting chit-chat, the 5 minutes you missed because you log in at exactly 9 hours to be efficient. Real information does not travel through official channels. Official channels are for propaganda. Official channels are for the record. Official channels are for what they want you to know. Real information travels through relationships. It travels through trust. It travels through, hey, don't quote me on this, but it travels through the messy, inefficient, human bonds you have spent years avoiding. By isolating yourself, you have cut yourself off from the shadow network. You have removed your sensors from the ground. You are a submarine captain running without sonar. You are navigating a minefield blindfolded, convinced that because you are walking carefully, you won't get blown up. Think about the last time you were truly surprised by a breakup or a betrayal. I never saw it coming, you said. Your friends did. If you had any. The neighbors did. Even the dog probably knew. Everyone knew but you. Why? Because you weren't conducting emotional reconnaissance. You weren't checking in. You weren't asking, how are we really? You were operating on the assumption that no news is good news. In the lone wolf trap, no news is just silence. And silence is where the ambush hides. When you refuse to play the political game, you aren't taking a moral stance. You are taking a suicide stance. You are deciding that you would rather be right than be informed. You think gossip is beneath you? Gossip is data. Gossip is the early warning system of the tribe. Gossip is how you know who is sleeping with who is stealing from the till, and who is about to stab you in the back. The lone wolf sits at the edge of the graph. No lines connect to you. No data flows through you. You are the last to know you're being fired. You are the last to know your partner is unhappy. You are the last to know the market has shifted. And the most pathetic part? You think your ignorance is focus. You sit there, grinding away on a project that was secretly canceled 2 weeks ago, but nobody told you because nobody talks to you. You are polishing brass on the Titanic while everyone else is already in the lifeboats. Why didn't they tell you? Because they assumed you knew? No. Because they wanted to hurt you? Maybe. But mostly, because they forgot you existed. You made yourself invisible. You succeeded. You are a ghost in the machine. And ghosts don't get the memo. So the next time you feel that smug satisfaction of declining an invite, of putting on your headphones, of shutting out the noise, remember this. You aren't just shutting out the noise. You are shutting out the signal. And when the predator comes for you, and they will come, you won't even hear the twig snap. You are obsessed with high performance. You hack your sleep. You drink the nootropics. You optimize your calendar down to the minute. You listen to podcasts about productivity at 2x speed while you're in the gym. You are a machine, but you are ignoring the laws of physics. You have 2 hands. You have 24 hours. You have 1 brain. That is your ceiling. No matter how hard you grind, no matter how little you sleep, you cannot defy the math of the single unit. This is the leverage ceiling, and the lone wolf hits it harder than anyone. You look at your life and wonder why you're exhausted. You wonder why you're stuck at the same income level, the same rank, the same level of impact, despite working harder than everyone else. I'm doing the work of 3 people, you scream internally. Exactly. You are doing the work of 3 people, and you are being paid like 1 person. Meanwhile, look at the guy you hate. The mediocre one. The one who isn't half as smart as you. The one who doesn't know the technical details like you do. The one who spends half his day just talking to people. He's getting promoted. He's closing the big deals. His company is scaling. Why? Because while you were busy trying to be the hero, he was busy building a machine. He wasn't trying to do the work. He was trying to multiply the work. Getty Images. Explore. The lone wolf operates on linear growth. Input equals output. You work 10 hours, you get 10 units of result. If you stop working, the result stops. If you get sick, the factory shuts down. The strategist operates on exponential growth. Input equals system. He spends 10 hours building a team, training a replacement, or forging a partnership. When he sleeps, the system keeps working. When he gets sick, the machine keeps running. You think delegation is for lazy people. You think, by the time I explain it to them, I could have just done it myself. That sentence is the anthem of the poor. I could have just done it myself. Yes, you could have. And you did. And now you are tired. And now you have no time to think about the next level because you are too busy unclogging the toilet of the current level. You are trapped in the micromanagement of your own life. You are the CEO, the janitor, the marketing department, and the customer support. You wear all the hats. You think this makes you versatile. It makes you a bottleneck. You are the lid on your own potential. Nothing can grow bigger than your ability to touch it personally. And since your reach is finite, your success is finite. Machiavelli didn't say, "The prince should lay every brick of the castle himself to ensure it is done right." He said the prince must know how to use men, how to leverage their talents, their greed, their fears, and their strengths. Archimedes said, "Give me a lever long enough and a fulcrum on which to place it, and I shall move the world." You are trying to move the world with your bare hands. You have no lever. You have no fulcrum. You just have sweat. And let's be honest about why. It's not because you're a perfectionist. It's because you don't trust anyone. You don't trust them to do it right your way. You don't trust them not to steal your credit. You don't trust them not to screw it up. So you clutch every task to your chest like a dragon hoarding gold. My precious. But it's not gold. It's weight. It's anchor chain. And while you are drowning under the weight of doing it all yourself, the people who learn to trust, who learn to delegate, who learn to build a pack, they are sailing past you. They aren't smarter than you. They just aren't alone. They have 20 hands. They have 240 hours in a day, 10 people x 24 hours. They have a collective brain that is processing data while they are on vacation. You are proud of your 18-hour workday. They are proud of their 18-person team. Who wins? The math is simple. The pack always eats the wolf. Because the wolf has to sleep eventually. And the pack never sleeps. There is a reason solitary confinement is considered torture. It's not the boredom. It's not the small room. It's not the bad food. It's the echo. When you remove other people from your life, you don't just remove the noise. You remove the anchor. You remove the only thing that tethers your mind to objective reality. This is the echo chamber of the mind, and it is where the lone wolf goes insane. Here is how it starts. You have a thought, just a small, nagging thought. Maybe it's about a coworker. Why did she look at me like that when I walked in? In a normal life, a connected life, you would turn to your friend at the next desk. You would say, "Hey, is Sarah weird today?" And they would say, "Yeah, her cat died this morning. She's a wreck." Boom. Reality check complete. Paranoia dissolved. You move on. But you don't have a friend at the next desk. You don't ask. You sit in your fortress. So the thought bounces. She looked at me because she knows. She knows I made a mistake on the report. She told the boss. They're talking about me right now. That's why the boss's door is closed. The thought hits the wall of your skull and bounces back, louder. They're planning to fire me. I need to get ready. I need to download my files. I need to start recording conversations. By lunchtime, you have constructed an entire conspiracy. You are sweating. Your heart is racing. You are treating Sarah like a spy. You are giving the boss weird, defensive answers. You are hallucinating. You are fighting a war that exists entirely inside your own head. And because you have isolated yourself, there is no one there to grab you by the shoulders and say, "Stop. You are spiraling." It's not about you. Without that external calibration, your brain defaults to its oldest, most primitive setting, survival mode. In survival mode, everything is a threat. Ambiguity becomes hostility. Silence becomes plotting. A missed call becomes a deliberate snub. You think you are being hypervigilant. You think you are being sharp. Wrong. You are becoming paranoid. Machiavelli warned about this too. He wrote about the prince who trusts no one. That prince doesn't sleep. He sees daggers in every smile. He sees poison in every cup. He executes his most loyal servants because he imagines they are traitors. And what happens? He creates the very thing he feared. By treating everyone like an enemy, he makes them enemies. Your isolation is a self-fulfilling prophecy generator. You think people are untrustworthy, so you act cold and suspicious. People react to your coldness by withdrawing. You see them withdraw and say, "See, I knew they were untrustworthy." Round and round you go, down the drain. This is the psychological decay of the hermit. You lose the ability to read nuance. You lose the ability to assume positive intent. You become a raw nerve, reacting to ghosts. And it's not just about paranoia. It's about delusion of grandeur. In the echo chamber, there is no one to check your ego. You write a manifesto that makes no sense. You launch a business idea that has zero market fit. You adopt a philosophy that is objectively batshit crazy. Why? Because inside the chamber, everyone agrees with you. Because everyone is just you. You tell yourself you are a misunderstood genius. You tell yourself you are Tesla. You tell yourself you are Nietzsche. No, Tesla had investors. Nietzsche had correspondents. Even the maddest geniuses had a tether to the world. You have cut the rope. You are drifting into deep space. And the tragedy is, you think this drift is enlightenment. You think you are seeing the truth that the sheep can't see. But you aren't seeing truth. You are seeing your own reflection in a funhouse mirror, distorted by your fears, magnified by your loneliness, and totally, utterly divorced from reality. You aren't a wolf. You're a man in a room, shouting at the walls, convinced the echo is the voice of God. And the walls are starting to close in. Let's look in the mirror. This is the part you aren't going to like. This is the part where we strip away the Sigma male edits and the Stoic philosophy quotes and look at the ugly thing underneath. You call them sheep. You call them NPCs. You call them normies. You look at people laughing in a bar or posting photos of their brunch or getting excited about a football game, and you feel a sneer curl your lip. Look at them, you think. So simple, so easily amused, so desperate for validation. You tell yourself you are above it. You tell yourself you are a different species, a lone wolf among domestic dogs. That isn't wisdom. That is narcissism. And it is the most pathetic kind of narcissism because it is born entirely of fear. You don't despise them because they are sheep. You despise them because they are connected and you are not. You despise them because they are playing a game you are terrified to lose, so you pretend the game is stupid. It is the classic sour grapes fable. The fox cannot reach the grapes, so he decides they must be sour. You cannot reach the connection, the intimacy, the easy laughter of the group, so you decide it must be fake. You decide it must be low vibration. You decide it must be beneath you. You are protecting your ego by devaluing what you cannot have. Machiavelli warned about this specific type of arrogance. He warned that a prince can be feared, but he must never be hated. And nothing generates hatred faster than contempt. When you walk into a room with that, "I am better than you" energy, people feel it. They smell it on you. You think you are being mysterious. They just think you are an asshole. And they are right. You treat people like obstacles. You treat conversations like transactions. You treat emotions like inefficiencies. And then you wonder why no one helps you. You wonder why no one invites you. You wonder why opportunities seem to flow around you like water around a rock. They just don't get me, you say? Wrong. They get you perfectly. They see a guy who thinks he is too good for them, so they leave him alone to be good by himself. This is the arrogance of solitude. You have convinced yourself that your isolation is a sign of your superiority. I don't fit in because I'm special. Maybe. Or maybe you don't fit in because you never learned how to listen, because you never learned how to be vulnerable, because you never learned how to be a friend without keeping score. Project this forward. 10 years, 20 years. Who is the lone wolf then? He isn't the cool, mysterious stranger at the bar. He is the bitter old man at the end of the counter. He is the guy who complains that society has gone to hell. He is the guy who has 1,000 opinions and 0 friends to share them with. He is the uncle nobody visits because all he does is lecture them about how they're living their lives wrong. Is that the victory you are grinding for? Is that the empire you are building? A kingdom of one, ruled by a bitter tyrant who locked the gates and swallowed the key? Machiavelli knew that power requires people. You cannot lead if there is no one following. You cannot influence if there is no one listening. By choosing this path, you aren't becoming a powerful prince. You are becoming a statue, cold, hard, immovable, and totally, utterly dead inside. While the sheep are out there living, messily, imperfectly, stupidly, perhaps, but living. They are falling in love. They are getting their hearts broken. They are building families. They are building companies together. They are experiencing the full spectrum of human existence. And you? You are watching them from your window, safe, superior, and rotting. You think you are preserving yourself. You are actually embalming yourself. The lone wolf trap has tricked you into trading your humanity for a feeling of importance. You gave up the tribe to be a god. But you aren't a god. You're just a guy who is afraid to be human. So here we are. The end of the movie. You have seen the trap. You have seen the fortress. You have seen the predator waiting for the straggler. You have seen the ghost you are becoming. Now you have a choice. And it is binary. Option A, stay in the fortress. Keep the headphones on. Keep the calendar blocked. Keep the "I don't need anyone" narrative running on a loop in your head. It's comfortable. It's safe. No one will challenge you. No one will hurt you. But understand the price. You will hit a ceiling you cannot break. You will watch less talented people surpass you because they have leverage and you do not. You will become increasingly paranoid, increasingly bitter, and increasingly irrelevant. And one day, something will happen. A crisis, a loss, a fall, and you will reach out your hand into the darkness, expecting a grip, and you will grab nothing but air. You will realize, too late, that the silence you cherished was actually the sound of your own funeral. You will realize that while you were busy being a lone wolf, the world moved on without you. That is the path of the rot. Option B, build the pack. This is the uncomfortable path. This is the dangerous path. It requires you to kill the part of your ego that says, "I am enough." It requires you to admit, out loud, "I need allies." It requires you to do the messy, inefficient work of human connection. But let's be clear, I am not telling you to go out and hold hands and sing songs. I am not telling you to be a social butterfly. I am telling you to be Machiavellian. Machiavelli didn't say, "Go make friends." He said, "Secure alliances." He knew that a prince without allies is just a target. The pack protocol is not about popularity. It is about survival. It is about building a strategic network of people who cover your blind spots, who amplify your strengths, and who defend your interests when you are not in the room. Here is how you start. 1. Identify the peers. Stop looking down on people. Look across at them. Find the people who are grinding just as hard as you, but in a different lane. Find the people who have the skills you lack. They aren't competition. They are force multipliers. 2. Offer value first. The lone wolf asks, "What can I get?" The pack leader asks, "What can I give?" Open the door. Share the intel. Make the introduction. Buy the lunch. Create a debt of gratitude. Do not keep the ledger at zero. Put people in your debt. That is leverage. 3. Show the throat. This is the hardest part. You have to be vulnerable. Not weak, vulnerable. Admit a mistake. Ask for advice. Say, I don't know. This signals to other predators that you are not a threat to their ego, but a partner in their survival. It builds trust faster than 1,000 perfect interactions. 4. Operationalize the network. Don't just hang out. Build together. Solve problems together. Create a feedback loop where you protect each other's interests. I'll watch your back on this project if you watch mine on the next one. That is a treaty. That is a pact. When you do this, something shifts. You stop being the prey. You stop being the target. You walk into a room, and you are not alone. Even if you are physically by yourself, you carry the weight of your alliances with you. You have eyes everywhere. You have leverage everywhere. You become dangerous in the way a real wolf is dangerous. Not because of its teeth, but because of its howl. Because when a wolf howls, it isn't just making noise. It is signaling to the world, if you come for me, you come for all of us. That is power. That is safety. That is the only way to win the long game. The lone wolf is a myth sold to you by people who want you weak, isolated, and easy to control. Stop buying it. Unlock the door. Step out of the fortress. Find your peers. Because the winter is coming. And in the winter, the lone wolf dies. But the pack survives.